Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our virtual classroom. In this video, I want to practice some conversions. Remember, conversions is simply when you're going from one unit to another, as we're going to be seeing in these examples, in these assignments. So let me do a few of these problems, beginning with the first one, which is actually quite simple. For example, number one, as we look at number one, it reads, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. 12 inches in 1 foot. How many feet, so we don't know how many feet, are there in 174 inches? Looking at this problem, ladies and gentlemen, let us identify what are the two units that we are dealing with. What are the two units that we are dealing with? So as I see this problem, I can see that we are dealing with inches and feet. We are dealing with inches and feet. And let me move up so we have some space to work with here. So on your notebooks, I recommend you write number one and you write inches and feet. Inches over feet or feet over inches. It does not matter as long as you stay consistent. The way that I've written it down, ladies and gentlemen, anything having to do with inches will be on the numerator on top, and anything having to do with feet will be on the denominator. So number one, I have identified the two things that I'm comparing, inches and feet. Next, ladies and gentlemen, let's identify which of those two is the bigger one. What is the larger unit? What is the bigger one? Is it inches or is it feet? What is bigger, an inch or foot? Well, I can see that feet is the bigger one of the two units. So I'm going to put a big number one underneath where feet is. And I need to ask myself, 1 foot is how many inches? 1 foot is how many inches? Now, typically, you would have to look at a conversion chart like the one that I provided for you on Schoology on the bottom page, where I can see that down here under customary, nope, inches and feet. Here it is, 1 foot is 12 inches, awesome. Most people already know that, and if you didn't know that, it is also provided to you right here on the problem itself. 1 foot is 12 inches. So let's go ahead and use that. 1 foot is 12 inches. Again, I haven't really done any math yet. So far, I've only been organizing the information. Okay, now let's do our third step. Let's use this information or the information given to me to write an equivalent fraction. How many feet, so we don't know the feet, are in 174 inches? So we have 174 inches. Where would that go, on the numerator or the denominator? Well, obviously, since I've decided to put inches on the numerator, that means that 174 inches would go on the numerator as well. 174 inches is how many feet? And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, at this point, I haven't really done any math yet, but I have essentially changed this problem into a mathematical expression. And now I can actually work it out. And there's a couple ways that I can do that. Number one, I can simply ask myself, 12 times what will give me 174, and then multiply 1 by that same number. You can figure out what that number is by simply dividing 174 by 12. That will tell you what to multiply by, and then you multiply 1 by the same number, and that will give you your x. Or like what I like to do, we can always cross multiply and divide. Okay, so let's cross multiply 174 times 1. That looks really bad. That still looks bad. 174 times 1, which will be 174. And we always divide by the number that we would multiply the variable by. So in this case, I'm going to divide by 12. So 174 divided by 12. And let's go ahead and work that out. All right, so 12 cannot go into 1, but it goes into 17 one time. 12 times 1 is 12. We subtract, that gives us 5. Bring down the 4. 12 goes into 54 4 times. 12 times 4 is 48. We subtract them, that gives us 6. And since I have a remainder, I have to keep going. Remember, there's a decimal right here. Bring down the 0, move the decimal up, and 12 goes into 60 exactly 5 times, and 12 times 5 is exactly 60. Ladies and gentlemen, that means that x has to equal to 14.5. That is to say that 174 inches is exactly 14.5, 14 and a half feet. And that is how you solve these problems, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you solve. Once you set it up, cross multiplying and dividing will always work. Let's go ahead and do another problem. Let's do another easy one. Let's do number 2. Let's go ahead and work on number 2. Look at number 2 right here. It says there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Already I know that I'm comparing feet to yards. Feet to yards. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. How many yards are there in 12 feet? All right, comparing feet to yards, what is the bigger unit? Which one is bigger? Well, between a foot and a yard, 1 yard is bigger. That's the bigger one, and 1 yard is 3 feet. That information is given to me right here. Okay, so now that I have that, let me use the information given to me. How many yards are there in 12 feet? 12 feet will go up with feet, and we want to know how many yards that is. Okay, notice how I set this up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so in this one, ladies and gentlemen, I can see that 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So 1 times 4 will give me 4. So that means that 12 feet is exactly equal to 4 yards. And that would be my answer. On Schoology, I would simply type in 4. Obviously, I could have cross multiplied also. It would have been 12 times 1, and 12 times 1 is 12, and then divide by 3. 12 divided by 3 also gives you 4. We get the same answer. Notice that, again, it's the same pattern that we've already been working with. Let's do one more. Let's do one of the harder ones, actually. And let me go down to number 9. Number 9, because I have a feeling that some people will struggle with this one. So Jenny will be traveling to Botswana, where the unit of currency is called the pula, which means rand. So they use this unit called the pula in the local language. And it says, suppose, and I'm reading from right here, suppose that $1 is equivalent to 7 pula. There is our conversion. $1 is 7 pula. $1, a dollar is bigger because $1 is equal to 7 of the pula. Okay, so now that I know that, I can actually work this problem out. Let's do 9a. And 9a reads, if Jenny has $500 to spend in Botswana, how many pula will she have to spend? All right, in other words, $500 is how many pula? Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously I'm comparing dollars to pula. So I'm just going to put, well, just write down pula. And we know that dollars is the bigger one because $1 is 7 pula. Notice that I'm just using the conversion, $1, and I saw the conversion $1, 7 pula. However, we have $500, and we want to know, well, how many pula is that? Well, let's go ahead and work it out. You could cross multiply 7 times 500 and then divide by 1, or 1 times what gives you 500? Well, 1 times 500 is 500, so 7 times 500 will give me my answer. Now I know that 7 times 5 is 35 and not 2 zeros, so it'd be 3,500 pula. 3,500 pula. Again, notice, guys, that even though I'm using units that I'm not familiar with, namely pula, I don't really know what a pula is, I can still use this method as long as you know what the unit rate is. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you found this video helpful. Please remember that you do have a conversion sheet given to you on Schoology. Okay, it is on the main page at the very bottom. Please use that. Or you can also look it up on Google. I don't mind if you need to find the unit rate, but I do want to see your work. What are you comparing? What is the unit rate? And what is the equivalent ratio based on the information that is being asked? With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next time.